We're now going to take a closer look at the configuration of vSphere standard switches. Now, you'll notice, of course, and we discussed this in the Getting Started course when we built this lab, we've got a yellow triangle on these hosts. And when we look at the summary, we can see a couple of warnings, but one of them is that the host currently has no management network redundancy. The reason for that is actually fairly simple. We only have one network card assigned to the management network. So if we take a look on the configure tab, go to virtual switches, we can see there's our management network, and it's connected to a virtual switch with only one physical adapter, so it has no redundancy. So what we're going to do now, we're going to add on the second adapter to this and on the other host, and we're going to take a look at the configuration options within a virtual switch. So we'll say add networking. We're going to add a physical network adapter to this switch. Select an existing switch, so switch 0, it's the only one that we have at the moment. And these are the adapters that are currently assigned. So vMNIC 0 is the only adapter that's assigned. And if we click on that, rather usefully, we get CDP and LLDP information in there. So if you're familiar with networking, you'll know about CDP and LLDP. If we had a Cisco or other compatible switch here, then these would show us which switch and port we are plugged into on those switches, which is very useful. I'm going to say add adapter, and we can see there vMNIC 1. So this is another physical NIC. Again, no CDP or LLDP information in there. It's exactly the same as the other one. I'm going to say OK, and it's put it in as an active adapter. Now you can also have it as a standby adapter, in which case it uses all the active adapters first. However, if all of the active adapters are down, it moves on to the standby, and then unused is exactly that, it's unused. But I'm going to leave it as active. That will trigger the host to load balance the traffic across these NICs. So say next and finish. That's a few moments. And we can see, there we go, we have two NICs assigned to this host. If we go back to the summary tab, we'll notice though that this message is still here. So if we go back into configure and into virtual switches again, we need to understand why is it still saying that. Well, actually, if we click on this management network here and go into edit settings, we get a bit more detail here. If we look at teaming and failover, we can see that this management port group by default is actually overriding the teaming and failover settings. So it's only using one active adapter. So all we're going to do, we're going to untick override from all of these. So this management port group will now use the settings for the virtual switch. We take a look at the summary tab and refresh a few times. That message should clear. And there we go. That message has now cleared away. We're going to do the same on the other host. Again, this is a vSphere standard switch, so we have to make these changes on each host separately. So we'll add networking, physical network adapter. Select vSwitch 0, add the NIC, OK, next, finish, and do the same to the teaming and failover options. Also take a look at this default VM networking one. You'll note that's all in default, so that will follow the configuration of the vSwitch. With that done, we'll now take a closer look at the other options on a vSwitch. So if we say edit,